show, one of our favourites. And every time you get on Facebook, have a look around, this guy is sunning himself somewhere around Australia, mate. And he wants us to believe that he is the hardest working bloke at the SANFL. The head of talent, Sticks Phillips, joins us. Sticks, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
Mate, how could you... You've walked in, mate. I've never seen you looking happier, never looking better. Is this the best job in the world right now?
I think it is. Honestly, I think it is. You're dealing with young talent. You get to travel around a fair bit. One of the really good aspects of my job is I get to go up to what they call the APY lands.
Yep.
So that's up in the Western Australia into South Australian border, right up in that community up there. So we run the furthest, remotest competition up there. It's a 10-team competition. You go up there, you watch these lads play on red dirt, and it's just amazing. It's amazing scenery. You're in the middle of nowhere. You've got no contact with anything. So it is something to behold.
And there will be some talent there too, Sticks. Would there not be? It's
there is
barefoot. They play.
Well, they tend to start in boots, and usually by the end of the game, there's one or two off, and there's socks coming out, and there's all sorts of things. But there's donkeys walk across the oval. There's dogs come across the oval. They continue to play. They play around them, and they travel 4 or 5 hours on really shocking roads to get to the game of footy. And never starts on time, but it'll start at some point in time. So they've got a unique way of life. So it's great.
It is really interesting. I was up on one of the lands and they had a tournament going. I went out and it was, all the stuff. And anyway, they're running the tournament and there's no teams. We're sitting in the stand and next thing the police guy grabbed it and says, if you're not out in 5 minutes on the ground, teams 3 and 4 will be playing. Honestly, these guys just started appearing it's like they're coming out of the ground. And I've never seen anything. I don't know where they're coming from because it was just dead flat and suddenly there's 36 blokes out there and they're away. Yeah. Some of it is just scintillating footy.
It is. And one of the real funny parts of the aspects you see, you don't really pick up on, is that when they get there, they go into their little pockets of the oval and they'll get changed in the scrub. Yeah. So they'll go out into the scrub in the middle of nowhere and get changed out there and do a warm-up. They won't do a warm-up. The oval's free. They won't do a warm-up on the oval. They're out in the scrub handballing and kicking out in the scrub.
But they like
and then
dodging
they
the snakes,
bang over,
mate.
they come.
They like dodging the snakes. They're snake jumpers. They look out, well, look out, well. They do that. I've seen them do it, mate. I played in the territory. I watched them do it. They prefer to go out, away from anybody else to change.
Well, you've got to be light on your feet. That's all I'm saying. Prickles, there's all sorts out there.
We talk a lot about the Indigenous talent because there is a lot of talent out there, but then there's that transition, getting them off the land, assimilating them back into the smaller communities, and then slowly. Because early days we used to just grab them and bring them, and that didn't work. So now we've got a better process. Is it a much better process now?
Oh, it's still very difficult to get them out of the lands because their English is not their first language.
No.
So it's their mother tongue, so they speak that quite fluently out there. So it's very difficult to transition them into mainstream society. Look, we're trying our best with it, and we'll get 1 or 2 down. A lot of them come down as juniors now and go to boarding schools. So if we can get them down early and get them into a boarding school or some sort, you get them into an environment where they can have a little bit of education around them, but they want to go home constantly. So you've got to allow them to go home, and then you've got to get them back and stretch that time they're in Adelaide out a little bit further, and they go back again. So
that's a really good point you made there, Sticks, because it's not only the non-English speaking players that are difficult to get down to Adelaide or to wherever. I played in the Alice there, and they had some players up there that would walk into league sides in Adelaide. You think, wow, this guy. Let's get him down. They don't go downtown. They don't want to go. I remember West Torrens had a couple of big Bray brothers come down. Fantastic ruckmen, both of them. Just really great players. I think they lasted about 2 weeks. They were in the Seaton Hotel for about a week and they just couldn't handle it. So it's a really difficult thing to do. And I can understand the APY would be even harder than just a guy playing league football in the Alice.
One thing when I go out there too is, as a white fella going out into their land, you actually you physically get the connection to land. Yeah, you can understand it. You go out there and you see some things out there and you go, I get what you're talking about, your connection to land and what it means to you. So you go, it's there if you want to come down, it's available, but if not, we'll provide a competition up here for you to enjoy, like they do up there. They love their football.
They do love their footy,
they love their basketball too. Hey, Sticks, there's always been a lot of talk around the AFL with the talent and what age the draft should be. Have you got an opinion? You've been in it a while now. What age would be the right age for it?
Oh, look, it varies, and my mindset varies with it accordingly. I think it should be post-education.
Yep.
So that's definitely 18 years of age. It can't be any younger than that, so it's got to be post-education. There's a train of thought, and I was lucky enough to go into the VFL system many years ago, and I'd played 5 seasons of SANFL football before I went there. So I was 21, 22 by the time I got into that system. I was prepared for it.
Yep.
I was physically prepared for it. 18-year-olds that go in there now, your first round might play in year 1. But not too many first, second and third rounds play. They might play 1 or 2 games, but they don't play consistent football up until probably their 3rd or 4th year in an AFL environment. So there is a school of thought that says, yes, we should move it to 19, 20 or even 21. So it might be a staggered, so you might take rounds 1 or 2 as an 18-year-old, then you got to take 19-year-olds with round 3. 20-year-olds with round 4. So you could stagger some of your starts around that. But the education component is a really strong one. We can't have kids going out at 17 years of age with year 12 still in front of them.
Sticks, I've got to ask you this because you're a talent manager. You have been for quite some time, about 2007, around there.
That's a long time ago,
mate, long time ago. But you've been around the junior talent for a long, long time. Is there a name that just jumps out at you? The first time you saw him, you go, wow, here we go. Or a couple of them, doesn't have to be one, because there would be a few.
Look, there's lots of them. In the early days, I still rate Jack Trengrove as probably one of the best ones to come through. Just had a wretched run at Melbourne with foot and injury problem, but I rated him really highly. Probably the one that I really allude to all the time is someone like Brodie Grundy. So the story with Brodie Grundy, and Daryl Hart was coaching our state under-16s at the time, and we were playing a trial game down at Noarlunga, and they picked their final 25. Brodie wasn't in their final 25, and I've walked away to go and do something, and Daryl was reading the team out, and he's read out this kid called Brodie Grundy, and I've walked to him and I said, mate, what's the story? Brodie Grundy wasn't in 2 minutes ago. He goes, you know what, Sticks? He goes, I reckon this kid's got some competitive spirit. I'm going to just play him. Okay? I've gone, right, that's your decision. Good luck to you.
Not a bad one.
He plays him, and now look at where he is at this point in time. So it's about a coach giving someone an opportunity, and Daryl gave him an opportunity, and the rest is history.
And who knows where he would have been had he got that opportunity. Had Hardy gone, you're in.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows where he would have gone?
Yeah, exactly right.
And that's a great point.
Look, he might have made it. Who knows?
Well, that's right.
We don't know whether he would or wouldn't.
He might have played tennis as well.
Yeah. So we gave him an opportunity. He might have gone to basketball. So we put him from basketball.
Footballers. Hey, we're getting the one up, mate, but I want to ask you this one because there's always a lot of pressure, and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus on this one, be it Crows, be it Port, be another club, but the recruiting officers and the talent identification, if they get it wrong, it's a massive mistake in the impact it has over the clubs. Have you seen any clubs that you think have nailed it better than any others over a consistent period of time?
They're all pretty good these days. Yeah. They get that much information. If you make a bad decision, it's
your fault.
Yes, your fault. They get that much vision available to them, that much stats available to them. They've got that much staff floating around nationally looking at players. They could possibly go to the draft tomorrow with the top 80 in their heads already. So that's how much intel they've already got on. What they do is they wait through to finals. They see that last little bit of puzzle in the finals. When they step up to finals intensity and pressure, then they make the decisions and their rankings based around that.
Yeah, hey Sticks, we love having you, mate. You're a wealth of knowledge. The SANFL are lucky to have you, mate. Hopefully they can keep you for another decade or two. It's rare that a coach gets to stay in a seat that long, mate. So whatever you're doing a great job.
Good on you, mate.
Brenton Phillips was our special guest. Stay with us.